Okay. So I think everything's rolling.
Yay.
Hi, welcome to Coffee Talk.
Yay, thank you.
And I have a new friend to introduce everybody to, and her name is Anew, and she's from India.
Yes.
So, hi,
Hi.
thanks for joining me.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
It's fun to meet people in access in the different classes from all over the world and find this kind of energetic compatibility and this I don't know, simpatico that people in your neighborhood you might not have that with, you know
Yeah.
so
And it's also the joy that everyone is and the enthusiasm for living. I adore that about, Access people. It's such a jewel in like, I mean, it makes my world so much brighter. I'm so grateful.
absolutely. So this morning I couldn't get my coffee machine to work. So I went to the local place and I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see, I'm wearing my sparkle top. And even though it's, what is it, January 3rd, and everybody, like, they do all their sparkle for the holidays, but not for life. But I like to sparkle all the time. And this lady in line, she was like, "Oh my gosh, I love your sparkle." And I said, "Yeah, like, why not keep it going? You know,
Yeah. What if it wasn't just, stipulated to a certain percentage of your life?
Right, exactly. It's only appropriate to sparkle on New Year's Eve and maybe your birthday.
And
But
if you attend someone's birthday, but you can't sparkle too much.
right.
And what if we over the topped it all the time and just enjoyed it the way it works for us? I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Like that.
that's the invitation. And it's fun to actually be that walking through the world, and just because you want to do it, not because you're trying to do anything for anybody, but you notice the ripple effect that it has. And other people, they're like, "Oh, I want to do that," or "I can't believe she's doing that." It's like, okay.
And the most awesome expressions I've adventured with are like kids. They're like, oh. And that just like lights up my world. And they're like, oh, we can do that also. I'm like, "Yee, totally."
That makes me think about, like, little kids have sparkle shoes and sometimes they have lights that light up when they walk. And I used to be like, why don't they make those for grown-ups? Because I would totally have a pair of those that light up
Glitter
when
on
they
them
walk.
and maybe not the squeak.
No, no, not the squeak. But I think that's for parents, to keep track of where their kids are going.
Yeah, while they're engrossed in something else. That's actually smart.
So, what are you creating these days? It's January 2022. Do you have anything coming up that's exciting?
I'm exploring different classes and creating classes and attending classes. I adore attending in a lot of classes. And right now, I chose the latest Wealth of Consciousness and the Consciousness of Wealth with Dr. Danier and Shannon O'Hara. And it's starting in a few hours. So I'm super thrilled. And it's
Awesome.
supposed to be 11 p.m. And I'm like, it's 3 a.m. the call. I'm not sleeping tonight.
So it's good that we have this to
Yeah.
keep you entertained for a while.
Yes. And I wonder what wealth of consciousness we can all be in the world and
Mm,
that is truly, truly available.
absolutely. It's
No,
interesting that that's starting today.
tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
Oh
it's
no.
tomorrow. It's
The
tomorrow.
deadline is today to register and it starts tomorrow. I was like, maybe I'm one day ahead.
Yeah, I remember it's January 4th for us, at least.
Yeah.
Um, Yes.
Yeah.
It's I had a bars class yesterday and somebody in the class was saying, "Oh, I don't like gold. I only like silver." And I've always had people coming into my boutique and having these different points of view about gold and silver, and I don't like diamonds. And it's like, wow, when we have points of view like that, it doesn't mean that you have to wear it necessarily, but if you're like, I don't like that, it cuts that energy out of your life. And so you're cutting out wealth and abundance. And so I would always introduce um, pieces to people to try on, just try it on, just see what it feels like and change their reality. It was so fun.
Yeah. And like, what brought you? I don't know about your journey with jewelry. What brought you to jewelry, and how does that contribute, to the wealth of your journey with consciousness?
Well, I've always loved jewelry, even when I was a little girl, and I'd be going out with my grandmother to museums and stuff. We'd stop by jewelry stores, and I'd ask to try on things. I'd try on like $1,000 rings and stuff. And throughout my life, I've always gone into very high-end places to try stuff on to get the energy of it. And I even tried on a $2 million ring a
Wow.
few years back. That was amazing and changed my world. And um, I've always wanted to create things like that and elixirs for people to wear that contributes to their body and their life. And during the pandemic, I actually started creating more custom higher end pieces, not just your, everyday things. And I've done a few and they've been so amazing. I love doing that. So I'm just asking for more. But there's an awareness through taking all the access classes. There's an awareness of the energy and the different gemstones and their energies and combining them together, kind of like a recipe, and having somebody put it on their body. It's sort of like SOPing their body and their life and their business. It's just such a thrill for me.
Just walk, just walking through that adventure of energetic creation is just so gorgeous. And yeah, I was just wondering, it's like witchcraft but with jewels.
Exactly. People used to come into my shop, and not everybody, but some who were aware, and they'd say, "Oh, you're like the lady in that movie Chocolat, but with jewelry instead of chocolate." And I'm like, "Yes." Thank you for noticing.
And how much more fun can it be? That's so beautiful.
And
And
it's
yeah,
interesting how it takes a while to, or it took me a while to acknowledge and to really see what it was that I was creating with it. Because, you know, it's
yeah,
just
and
easy for me.
yeah, and yeah, that's a lot with the for like how things are easy and we don't look at it as being something that's something that someone would cherish. And for me, it's been like that with playing with energies and playing with just like how my life has created itself. It's
Mm,
so it's like things just show up as if by magic, but it's and ask it and receive is like, especially the more access I've done, the more it's shown up. And I just used to call myself bizarre before I got to access. And then I found this class a couple of 4 years ago with Jenny, which was diving into the difference, and it's an Access X-Men class. And I was like, "Ooh, I require that because I'm just so different. I don't know. For me back then, it was a wrongness, and I wanted to dive into it to fix it. And then the more I found the tools of access and the gift of being different and not seeing that as something that's terrible and wrong and needs to be fixed, I'm still in that process of receiving that, but just that possibility of it not being wrong is so, it just melts my world.
It's so true. I remember Gary talking about being different and being willing to be the difference. And the first time I heard it, I was like, no, like I always wanted to find something that I was the same as somebody else. And with a name like Julie, I had always another friend who had the same name. So at least we had that in common. And, you know, like somewhere, please show me that I'm not so freaking different and wrong.
Yeah, that. And even like stepping into that space of being okay with being different is such, it's so empowering, so scary in an awesomely powerful way.
Terrifying, the way Shannon says. Exciting and terrifying.
and
But
and
yeah.
and that space of just like allowing all of that to not be crunched in or boxed in or trying to look like something else that it's not. Such a gift.
Cool. So tell me more about how you create from your difference or what you're creating.
Oh, I wish there was a recipe. I really wish. It's like every time it shows up different. Like even the way it shows up is like sometimes, you know, I'm just doing something and something just pops in my world and I'm like, oh, that I have to go look at that. And exactly at that point, an email will show up or a message will show up regarding that. And things just move or play or just meander through. And
Mm,
it's so gorgeous. And this allowing that instead of going into like, no, this is not the time or this is not the I'm doing this. I will not distract myself.
mm-hmm.
And that was something because I studied design. So for me, it was always about exploring what other way I could look at something.
Mm,
And it was more graphic design and interior design and integrated design with like experiences and how people can engage with what's around them and who's around them. And from there to like, you know, in that it was very linear in the way you create and having this 360-degree space of just being with it all and not like being this has to come before this or after this is so liberating. It's so gorgeous in the way someone could engage with something as an entity, as a being, as a creation. And the Talk to the Entities tools, the X-Men tools, the Joy of Business tools. I mean, the entire of Access is just such a different way of looking at the world.
mm-hmm. So true.
And yeah, how does it get better?
How does it? Yeah. Yeah. The ease and the difference and the possibilities. This year, especially, I've been really, really curious about what infinite possibilities are, you know, not just the few things that we think are possible, but like, what are the infinite possibilities and what would it be like to live as that? It's
I
just,
wonder. It just went, yeah, it just went. How does it become more a space we can function from?
yeah. And rather than just a concept, but actually choosing it.
Yeah, because yeah, that how yeah, wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, let's just let that be for a while. Now I know why
Mic drop.
they're doing the, you know, they're doing the classes like half day because it's like, okay, we're done.
Yep. And that space of like, especially with the being you class, that was the first that I uh, was with the half day class.
Mm,
And um ESB and being you were half days, and they were like, just be with the energy of what we, and the class doesn't end in the morning though.
right.
The energies just like permeate everything you engage with. And
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
I have an idea for the afternoons um, at the recent Being You class in Houston. I asked to keep the room open in the afternoon so that after lunch and after people doing whatever it is that they were choosing, that we could trade body processes. And I find that doing a class, like doing clearings and processing in the morning and then break and then afternoon, evening of body processes, is just such a wonderful way to continue being in the energy in the space, but also, get your body to catch up with all the changes.
Yeah. Oh yes, I've done so many classes recently online
Mhm.
that for me, when I attended the maestro half online and half in person, it was an adventure.
How did you do that? From India? No.
Well, I had a demand of being there in person, but my visa came through on the morning of class on day one. And so for me to get the ticket and go, I was traveling after day one in class and in transit for day two. I reached the venue on day three, and I was like, I am not missing this. And I was like, my body was like so grateful to be in a class.
Oh. Mhm.
Was it's a different space, and the receiving is so tangible in a very different way. Yeah.
Absolutely.
How does it get better?
Wow. Wow. What a journey that must have been. My goodness.
It was, and next time I'm gonna be like, hey,
From India to Croatia, right?
via Amsterdam. So
Crazy.
yeah. It was interesting. I SOP Chipotle. It was fun.
It's funny how they really do pull you in. I remember, well, the last time I traveled for Maestro was in Rome. I guess it was 2019 because 2020 was online. Um, and I was like, wow, I've gone to so many classes and been away so much. Maybe I won't do it this year. I had done Maestro already many times, and like a week before, I was like, fuck that, I'm going. And I was looking and looking for a ticket, and they were all really expensive and in the middle of the back of the plane. And I was like, no, what else is possible? And I found this amazing first class ticket at this discount airline that had an amazing plane. It was gorgeous and great food and lots of space, and you could lie down, and they had a direct flight. I was just like, what? For like half the price of coach on the other airlines. Crazy.
I know. I'm getting more and more how consciousness conspires for us. I mean, for consciousness to be more in the world.
And it's like, if you want to do something, you'll shake the universe until you make it happen. Mhm.
And that demand and that I wouldn't call it adamancy, but that demand, yeah, the demand of yourself. That's so. I used to call it being adamant, but it's not being adamant from like stuckness. It's knowing that something's possible.
Yep.
It's yeah,
Yep. Totally. And just not giving in,
yeah.
even though
Wow.
other people think you're crazy. Why do you want to go there? Da, 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 da. It's a lot of money. It's like, what is money for? If it's not for traveling first class to a class that you want to go to.
That's the
and have your magical capacities exponentialized. Like, what
Yeah.
is money for?
That. Yeah.
And maybe that's just what we value, and that's okay. Other people don't have to value it. They can value,
What works for them, yeah.
going on vacation, or, saving for a rainy day, or going out to dinner, or whatever it is. It's all good. But if we didn't judge what we were
Yeah,
choosing.
that. And what if we could have it all, like, that dinner and the first class flight to a gorgeous class? That
And
changes
custom jewelry and chandeliers.
or just in, yeah, in just that ease-filled way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes. What else is possible? I'd
And
like to inspire people to choose to upgrade, just upgrade a little bit more, a little bit more. It's funny, the first job that I got out of college, I really wanted to be an artist, but I sort of bought other people's points of view that, well, you can't do that, and da, 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 da. So I got a job at a software company in the upgrade department. And it was Lotus Software way back in the very beginning.
ah,
They had just gone public, I think. So I lost out on that window, but it was still sort of the ground floor. And I was in the upgrade department, and people would call in with their old version, and I would help them upgrade to the newer version that was faster and better. And it's so interesting because that's like always been everything in my life. It's like when you move from one place to another, it's going to be better in some way, to work better for you. And, whether it's more room for more people, or smaller because it's just you, or whatever, it's just upgrading, always choosing more
yeah.
and more, and what else is possible, and what else is possible.
And yeah, wow. That is so beautiful. And consciousness and access consciousness tools are that on an everyday level with everything.
Yes.
That's so
So
beautiful.
who are you today, and what would you like to choose?
And what grand and glorious adventures can we have?
Little kid in a candy store. Oh,
And how does it get even better?
Yeah. So do you have any classes coming up that you'd like to share with people?
I have a series of energetic contributions, which I call the allowance of receiving.
Mm.
And they're just like as a symphony group tasters.
Mhm.
And I have another deeper dive into difference, which I call the pragmatics of bizarre.
I love that.
How does it get more fun?
Pragmatics of bizarre. Huh. Interesting. Hmm.
In my world for a very long time, it's just been such a strange space, and being more present with how that creates is just such a gift. And I wonder what people know and what we all can create and generate together.
Mm. Yeah, so true. Well, I have a SOP, um, golden SOP, I call it, that I do the first Wednesday of every month. So it's a group taster, infusing gold and the energy of gold into your world. And I also have a Talk to the Entities beginning class coming up. So I'm excited about that.
That is so
Yay.
beautiful. And I adore the beginning class of Talk to the Entities,
Mm.
and how you've been aware, you've been with these energies, but it's not like you've noticed them. And when you start noticing and being with them and engaging with these entities from these tools that are So generative. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's one more creation that I'm super thrilled about. You might actually like the sound of it too. It's a specialty class I created many years ago, but it just wasn't time. And now is the time. I did it maybe a couple of times last year online, but it's going to be in person, kind of like a weekend retreat. And it's called Committing to Your Living. And we're going to start with a champagne welcome and jewelry party where people can try on all kinds of jewels and feel what it's like to step into a totally different upgrade. And then there'll be all kinds of clearings and body processes over the weekend. And the final day is going to be an optional learn how to make some jewelry for yourself to take home. Wouldn't that be fun?
See, now I just want to be across the pond, like across the entire of Europe and the pond.
And we're looking for a venue in the wine country here in California. So it's going to be beautiful towards the end of February. I think the weather should be really nice too.
Well, will it?
So excited.
Anyone in the vicinity, please go. It just sounds so delectable.
Upgrade. Time for an upgrade.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such elegance walking. Just that space. How does it get more fun? And
how does it? Well, I'm super excited about your difference class too. So maybe send me links and I can put it in the show notes. I usually don't have anything in particular in the show notes, just like, things that we chatted about, but it sounds really cool. And if anybody wants to check it out, like, go for it.
And what contribution can we be for each other's class and me for yours and everyone else? And there's also the bars class, that the global bars that's coming up in a week.
Yes.
Everybody kind of like head over to Access Consciousness /relax.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, that's good.
I love the tag. It's like accessconsciousness.com/relax. It's like relax into global bars.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually really feeling the pull to go to Houston. We have a bunch of us facilitators here in Northern California who are creating an event, and it's sort of crumbling. I'm not sure what's happening with all the regulations and stuff changing all the time here. So I may go to Houston and help out there.
Oh, joy. How does it get
feel so light? It's like, all right. So all over the world, there will be events. So check it out.
Yes. And what contribution can we all be to each other, with each other, and with consciousness?
I wonder. Thank you so much.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Julie.
Fun chatting with you, and thanks everybody for listening. And I'll also share this on my YouTube channel and send you the link if you want to share with your friends.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you so much.
Take care. Enjoy your Wealth of Consciousness class too.
Thank you. And anyone who wants to join, still a few hours.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Julie.